Hi, everyone. Welcome back to season 3 of the Discovery Pod with Eve. I am Eve Richards. It's so good to be back in the studio, filming another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve, a season defined by transformation, resilience, and the belief that storytelling has the power to awaken something within us. It has been nearly a year since we taped our last episode, and in that time, the world has shifted, and so have we. I'd like to start by thanking Roger Neal, who's my publicist and also co-produces the show with me, for all the work he's done behind the camera to get us ready for today. I would also like to thank our new studio partners as well. How exciting to be in a new space. Hosting with me, my co-host is Tony Blass. Tony is an actor, he's a producer, he's a filmmaker, he does it all, and he's a marketing strategist. Tony recently lost his father, who was a fellow actor, and he hurt himself at the gym. So it is so great to have you back with us today, Tony. It's wonderful to see you. You look amazing. You've lost 115 pounds, if I can say that. So welcome back to the Discovery Pod with Eve.
Well, thank you, Eve. It's so exciting to be back. The first 2 seasons were fantastic, and yes, now I feel even better. Well, I felt better with the weight, a little not so good with my ankle, but I'm really glad to be back here for the 3rd season.
Awesome. And Tony, I'm really excited about the the first episode of the season. We have some members from A Line of Fire, which was released by Sony on September 2nd in all of their digital platforms. So how exciting to open the season with A Line of Fire.
Absolutely. And you are amazing in the film.
Well, thank you.
There's a little surprise at the end. It's so fantastic, but you really brought this multifaceted, dynamic character to life, and it was really exciting to watch.
So before we join David A.R. White, who is the lead as Cash, and he's also one of the producers, and Vincent De Paul, who played Marcello, before we start talking to them, Tony, tell us, what have you been working on since I last saw you?
Well, I've been making a lot of short films. I've played homeless guys, and I've also played a guy who gets his head cut off in a feature horror film. So that kind of thing, I take pretty much whatever comes along. And unfortunately, I had the lead in a really great comedy film about a father whose daughter starts dating someone older than he is. So it was really funny, and it shoots in New York next month. But after I tore my tendon, I really couldn't travel. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear.
But I am up for a role as a bad guy, just like you. So I'm really hoping I get it, because that'll shoot in January, and I should be ready for that.
Fantastic, Tony. I'm just always amazed when I see all of the things you're out there doing on Instagram. It's fantastic. This show for me is all about inspiring a worldwide audience, and I know people will feel inspired by your journey and also your weight loss. When I look at pictures from season 1, and you've lost 115 pounds, can you share with the audience what you did to lose that weight?
Well, I went back to Weight Watchers, which is where my wife and I started in the 80s, but we had the little extra help, Wegovy. And I have to tell you, the GLP-1 is not only so helpful in losing weight, but it's really good at your helping you overcome cardiac issues and other health issues. So I really, it's been great. And I'm thankful that these miracle drugs exist now.
Incredible.
And so how have you been?
Wonderful, busy, lots going on. Can't complain. It's wonderful.
Traveling the world. You just completed another feature film, I understand, and you're back here to do the show again.
Yes, thank you.
And this movie that we're going to talk about today has just been released.
Yes.
And you play an amazing part of it.
Thank you. And, it feels fitting to open the season with a story that explores pressure, choices, and what happens when identity is pushed to its limits. Sony Pictures' A Line of Fire, released digitally worldwide on September 2nd, is more than an action film. It's a story of loyalty, internal conflict, and decisions that ultimately redefine us. Joining us today are three cast members. David A. White, who plays the lead actor, Cash, and he's one of the producers. David has spent over 3 decades shaping the stories rooted in purpose, conviction, and humanity, becoming one of the most recognized voices in inspirational cinema. He was discovered by Burt Reynolds early in his career. He grew up as the son of a Mennonite pastor before co-founding Pinnacle Peak Pictures, the studio behind the global God's Not Dead franchise. In A Line of Fire, David steps into a new kind of role, shedding certainty for moral complexity as he brings Cash to life, a man who's caught between loyalty and survival. Joining us as well is Vincent De Paul. Vincent plays Marcello. Vincent is a 2-time Emmy Award winner. Vincent has built a career defined by elegance, emotional precision, and global storytelling. With more than 3 decades in film and television, his work includes collaborations with Pinnacle Peaks and Panoramic Pictures on titles such as Beckman, God's Not Dead 3 and 4, Love on the Rock, Nothing's Impossible, and now A Line of Fire. In A Line of Fire, he becomes Marcello, a figure of composed intensity whose silence commands presence. And of course, Eve Richards as Joan Rycker and Mr. X. So, David and Vincent, welcome to the premiere episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. It is so good to have both of you with us today.
Thank you. I wouldn't miss it for anything. I'm so happy to be here. Although we're 3,000 miles away from each other, this is wonderful, and it's great to see you and to see wonderful David.
Awesome. So, David, much of your career has been rooted in stories driven by conviction and inner belief. Yet, in A Line of Fire, Cash is a man who's pushed into moral uncertainty, operating in a space where loyalty, survival, clash. What drew you to step into a character who is not defined by certainty but pressure?
I mean, I think that's always what makes good movies is, when the hero is forced into a situation and then has to deal with it, especially when they don't want to. He had retired from the FBI and he's trying to spend time with his daughters, and then all of a sudden, everything happens, and he is thrust into this world that he was hoping to be out of.
Kind of like a Mr. Mom with a gun.
Sure, Mr. Mom with a gun. Exactly. That's that. You know what? I'm surprised there weren't commercials that did that. Mr.
That's
Mom
funny.
with a gun.
I know, that's incredible.
Just put an apron on me and then put a gun here.
Well, you made blueberry pancakes.
Yes, true. I did.
A lot of them.
Yeah. So, Vincent, Marcello owns the nightclub world. He moves through, not by raising his voice, but by controlling energy, attention, and access. When stepping into a character who exerts power through presence rather than force, how did you shape his stillness into something that feels quietly dangerous?
That's very interesting. A lot of times it's the things that we do not utter that sometimes can be very important and very poignant. I just think it has to do with your inner life of that character. And, Marcello with Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr., he played this, club owner who in South Beach, the club owners have to have kind of a silence about them because they're dealing with a huge group of people that are coming every night to party. And so I knew that lifestyle in Miami Beach and in South Beach of all these different bouncers and all these different club promoters. And they always had this kind of stealthness about them, but they were in control. They didn't say much, but they were kind of surveying everything and seeing what was going on in the club to make sure that there wasn't a brawl or a fight. But of course, David Ayer White's character Cash comes in, and that's just the opposite because there is a brawl, there is a fight, there is gunshots. That's exactly what you want to avoid in the clubs in South Beach, but not in our
I
movie.
thought you were referring to my kitchen where I was making pancakes. There's a club and a brawl between my daughters, right?
Were you actually wearing? I got to ask you this question because it's been on my mind. Were you wearing a Versace shirt?
So I was literally going to bring it out. So in the
Are you wearing a
movie-
Versace shirt now?
No. This is the shirt is by Ike Behar. The jacket is by Luigi Bianchi Montova. But I was going to wear a Versace shirt, and specifically in the script, because it's Miami and it's Florida where Versace lived, it said Versace shirt. And it was lensed masterfully by Itan Almagor and also Matt Shapira, and they said Versace shirt. And I knew that there was going to be a gunshot through my Versace shirt. So instead, I actually have this shirt that has the gunshot through it. And I knew then that we were going to do a shirt in homage to Versace that had the same patterns because I did not want to ruin one of these pieces of art, which is a Gianni Versace silk shirt. So hopefully that answers your question.
It does, of course. And of course, I know we've got to mention this, that you won an award for the documentary you did, right?
Yes, I received the Visconti Award in Milan, Italy for the genius of Gianni Versace Alive, which is on all the different platforms. I'm happy that the movie really celebrates the life of Versace. But back to shooting in South Beach. I really very much enjoyed shooting this movie, Eve, and then going to the premiere with you. I thought that the cast of Katrina Bowden, Jason Patric, David, Cuba Gooding Jr.,
Oscar winner
everyone
Cuba.
that participated in this film, and you playing this mysterious kind of character, Mr. X / we don't know until the very end. I thought that was a very compelling thing because we, as the audience, were not cognizant who could this be, and then all of a sudden there's a reveal, and I thought that was very clever storytelling. And back to it, the genesis comes from the story. The genesis comes from the producer. So when David comes with these ideas, David, I'm always amazed that you come up with these stories with your writers to put these figures in these different positions, and how do they get out of it? How do they continue with their life? And with you continued with your life with your family, but how do you go from making blueberry pancakes in your home to fighting in South Beach? And I thought that was an interesting journey.
Yes.
Yes. But your character may have been silent to some extent, but when he did speak, he seemed to have speaking philosophy and so forth. So I wondered if you were reading Nietzsche, and if
No. I like to read the script as a template or as a blueprint for what I'm going to say, but then sometimes if the director and the producers approve, I kind of sometimes add a little bit, and so I just added a little bit to that character, and it was just he was someone that basically was the yes man to Cuba's character, and making sure that the club was running okay and that there wasn't too many problems in the club, watching the monitors to see who was coming in, who would be dangerous that night, making sure that people don't break into the club, things like that. So that's it.
Amazing. So, David, A Line of Fire brings together a powerhouse ensemble from Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr., Katrina Bowden, Jason Patric, Gabriel Rodriguez, who plays Nacho beautifully, and returning collaborators such as Juan Bonfil, of course, Vincent, and Tommy Schneider, along with such talent. And of course, your two daughters, who were fantastic, Ocean and Everett, who are also part of the film. As both a father and a performer, what was it like experiencing this with your daughters?
Well, they've been acting for quite a long time. So I mean, I think Ocean's first movie was she was a baby, and then and Me Again, and Everson.
Everson.
Yeah, Everson's first movie I think was Courting Mom and Dad. Maybe but they both been in probably 3 movies.
Okay.
So it's fun in the way that you have this camaraderie, but I also think that and it's because of the dad, and I'm playing a dad, their dad, and so it's like when it's also a little bit tricky though, because you have such a respect for the everybody else, and you love your kids,
Yeah.
but your kids are news shock to everybody out there who doesn't have kids, is they don't always behave to the way that they do in the movies. Like they have their own thoughts and their opinions, and sometimes they don't really want to get up in the morning, and so you're hoping that you're not putting everybody else off with that. But my daughters were wonderful, and they were great as always, and so But as a parent, you always feel that extra pressure on you.
I thought it was one of some of the beautiful scenes. It brought the story to life because it's an action movie. But those scenes with your daughters to me were just incredible, just because, it tells a story of a father, who, without giving it away. But it was beautiful to watch that with you and your daughters. It was just.
Well, it's a universal theme too.
Yes.
It's like a great many people out there are parents, and so the idea of if their own children get kidnapped, how do you feel? And all that stuff inside of you that rises up that you try to you keep down.
Well, and maybe some of the chaos of your life kind of endangered them.
Yes, and that's he has that moment where he's trying to figure out, is he going to go off and try to save this girl and endanger his children in the process? That's the big choice that he has to make, and obviously he chooses. Well, we'll let people watch it to see which one he chooses.
Right. Now, in the final scene, where did you shoot that?
The final scene. Which one is the final scene?
Where you're on a beach with the daughters.
Oh yeah, well,
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Of
right.
course.
Hawaii.
Oh, you had to go to
Hawaii
Hawaii
also-
for
yeah, exactly.
one final scene.
Hawaii
Nice
is-
being the producer.
I know.
Hawaii.
Also known as Malibu. But, we
right.
won't talk about that.
Yeah,
But
that's.
it's funny because my daughters finally just watched the movie not that long ago. Like it's that's the interesting thing about kids too, is I can't even get them to watch the movie. And then finally I twist their arms and they're like, fine, we'll watch the movie that we co-star in. And so and then they're like, when they saw that scene, they're like, wow, that beach looked nothing like when we shot it.
It looked
That's
amazing.
what movie making is all about.
Well, we wondered if you used some color thing on the
Oh,
ocean.
yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Color, it looks beautifully warm. It was cold when we shot that, as normal.
Malibu.
When you read all the stories about Baywatch, when they shot Baywatch, everybody is cold. The
Yeah.
majority of the time, they're all freezing on the beach. You don't get 85 degrees when you're shooting out there.
So Vincent, of course, Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. is your
I thought you were
friend.
going to say Vincent, segueing Baywatch.
Baywatch.
Let's talk about Vincent.
So Vincent, I gotta say, Cuba is your friend, and your scenes are, with him. How was it? How did it feel? Being, playing this role, your character.
Cuba is such a wonderful soul. I've known him for a decade plus, and it's just delightful. And again, I'm so happy that we were together, this ensemble cast. Again, I just want to mention all these great names: David Airway, Jason Patric, Katrina Bowden, Scott Baio, Gabriel G. Rod Rodriguez, Samantha Lockwood, Ocean White, Tommy Snyder, Everson White, Eve Richards. I mean, the list goes on. Everyone that came together, and it was so delightful to do a movie with people that you like, and that's what made the work so easy. There's a shorthand to working with people, and there's this great ebb and flow, and he is a great and amazing performer. I just watched one of his movies that I didn't see. I only saw clips of it, called Man of Honor, where he played a diver
I
and so
saw
forth
that.
opposite
Yeah.
De Niro, with Robert De Niro, and I so enjoyed that period piece, about him being, a diver in the military. So yeah, so it was great it was really wonderful. And then also for everyone to come to South Beach and to
Oh,
shoot in South Florida, it was really a great energy. And I have to hand it to the producers. They did a great job in curating an amazing movie.
and I think being in South Beach as well, where we did the premiere when we had the special screening at the Miami Film Festival, I thought it was fantastic. And Vincent, I keep looking at some of the pictures of myself and you know, walking to the theater. Those were really, you know, beautiful pictures. So, David, I gotta say, you've worked with Matt Shapiro, who is the director and one
Yeah.
of the producers, several times. So,
Yeah.
how does it feel collaborating with, you know, someone that you've worked
Yeah.
with on so many projects?
Well, I think as Vincent had said, you know, it's nice. It's about camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
It's the movie making process is a bit like going to war, and I say that facetiously for all those out there who have actually gone to war, but in our minds, right? There's so much going on. It's like spinning plates, herding cats, you know, whatever the catchphrases are that it feels like. It's not easy. And so Matt and I have worked and done, and Vincent's been in several of those films as well, many films together, and you know, we have a shorthand, so it's easier to do that kind of stuff. So because we're also moving fast
Of
too. I mean, I don't
course.
know if you felt like that when we were doing your scenes,
Yeah.
but you know, it's not, we don't have 5 days
Oh, yeah.
to do an office scene or
Oh,
to
yeah.
do, you know, like
It's moving fast.
It's fast.
Yeah. So I know Tony watched it. I've watched it quite a few times, not because I'm in the movie, but I've watched it quite a few times. I gotta say,
Well,
I
you're
gotta.
very good in the movie.
Oh,
I don't
well-
know if you've seen that yet. Maybe you should watch it 3
I
more
gotta,
times.
I gotta say, well, thank you, David, for having me be part of the cast, and Roger there, who's also a co-producer. But a lot of people who are out there who may not have seen it, I mean, it premiered digitally by Sony Pictures on September 2nd. So many people have called me and said, Eve, my cousin was flying from Venice. He was attending the Venice Film Festival, and he was flying to New York. He was like, guess what I'm watching? A Line of Fire. I had a friend of mine flying from London. She was going to Dubai.
Yeah.
She said, guess what I'm watching? A Line of Fire. So there might be a few people out there, as anything else, who may not have seen the movie. So what can you tell those folks about A Line of Fire?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on Apple, it's on Amazon, and if you're flying, make sure you fly American or Emirates because we know it's on there. I'm not 100% sure of the other airlines, but I've gotten the, you know, it's always fun to get pictures from somebody on a plane. I think at any point when somebody is on a plane and they send you a photo, you know, it could be their last photo, so you don't know, and in that way, it's kind of a fun little thing. And then if you happen to be in the movie that's on the plane, you know, you're like, oh, it's like it's fun. So it's there, and then it goes. It's on Fandango. It's like it's in a lot of places. People just need to Google it, and then it'll come up.
It
somewhere.
comes right up, no problem.
Yeah.
So you've made a lot of faith-based movies lately. Is this sort of a departure, or is it more of a deepening of that storytelling? And how does
Yeah.
it go together?
It's a good question. We certainly, I've done a lot of faith-based movies. There's no doubt about it. And when PureFlix was acquired by Sony in 2020.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, we ran that for pureflix.com for about 3 years, and so we did a lot of production for that. That some of those had just come out, but I actually haven't done a faith-based movie in a little while because of that. I felt like that chapter in my life was kind of closing and wrapping up. I'm not saying that I'm not going back. I think it's important to always be open to, for me, wherever God is leading me, and I feel led to go. But right now, I'm having a great time with this. Is something I've always wanted to do, is to do these action thrillers, and in some ways, tie in my feelings about America and putting those in different movies. And so that's what A Line of Fire, I think, is. It's very patriotic. It's also just a story about a dad and trying to be a good father. I think there's a great line in there from you, isn't there? What's that line? Do you remember?
I know the
testing
line.
you.
Can I tell you
I
the
love
line?
the line. It's a great line. But you're the
wanna
one who
say it,
said
or
it.
can
No,
I say
please
it?
go ahead and
The
say
line
it.
is, I'm not the villain here.
Yes, I'm not
Right?
the-
I mean, what a great line.
That was such
That
a
is not the line I'm talking about.
Oh,
It was
okay.
something
Well,
about
that's
being patriotic or something.
It's basically about if you want to be a good
Dad.
dad.
Oh my
or
goodness,
Or
yes.
if you want to
forgot.
change. What is the line?
I forgot.
Vincent,
Vincent,
do
do you
line?
remember,
It's,
Roger?
be a good. First
Something
of all,
about
it's,
be a
it talks
good-
about be a good father first to your children.
Yes.
Yes.
When we
It's
had the
such a good
phone,
line.
the phone call was
Yeah.
beautiful. So Vincent, I'm
I'm
gonna.
sorry, I totally threw Eva. I
You
was
did.
like,
We shot this
You know
about.
what? Unfortunately,
we-
none of us have the line that is so good.
It's so good. We shot this over a year ago, and
know.
unfortunately, I have a good memory to retain. But I'm like, we just did something else. So Vincent, I'm going to ask you the same question. There are a lot of folks out there who may not have watched A Line of Fire, and it's got such a wonderful ensemble of great actors, seasoned actors, and one of the things that I understand in the business is like anything else, it's when you're on set, it's such a beautiful thing because you never know if a movie is going to be seen, right? So you can do many projects and those movies may not be seen, but this was distributed by Sony Pictures. So what would you like to share with the audience out there that should, go out so they should go out and see it?
Certainly. So, firstly, to be able to watch the movie, you can go to YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, Amazon Prime, and then it's also available in the Netherlands and around the world. So, what it is that when you're doing these movies, you don't realize that it all of a sudden will be broadcast in the orbit of the world. Like it will be around the world. And so, for anyone that wants to watch a movie that you can see a story, a journey of an former FBI agent who goes through life struggles and has revelations and epiphanies to see your character Eve and to understand her duality. Anyone that wants to have an enjoyable time watching a movie, this is it. Plus, you get the backdrop of the luscious, beautiful Miami, Florida. You get to see Bayside. You get to see all these places. So in the middle of the winter in December, you turn on this movie, and all of a sudden you're in a tropical paradise, and you're like, okay, it's so gray outside. I'm not feeling so bad. This movie really kind of lifts your soul, and it's a fun, enjoyable watch. That's what I would say for people to watch it.
It's also, sorry to interrupt, but it was also one of the reasons why Sony liked it because, it says, it basically just, I'll say this, is that it hits Netflix in December, right? And one of their promos was, when people are done with the holidays and they've gone through 4,000 Christmas movies and seen snow and everything else, then they're ready for their tropical vacations.
I
and
like
that's
that.
really what A Line of Fire is about because it takes place in Los Angeles and Miami, both beautiful landscapes and in their own different ways. And so if you want a vacation from wherever it is you are at, it's certainly A Line of Fire is that.
You've done films in both Miami and Los Angeles, right?
Vincent lives in both places.
Oh,
Yes.
so you're bi-coastal.
Yes.
Did you
yes.
hear that
We-
question?
Many of our movies are done around the world. We've shot in Malta on the island of Gozo, which was very lush and beautiful. We've shot, in Oklahoma.
Gorgeous places like
Oklahoma,
South Carolina,
South Carolina.
Detroit, exotic.
No, but both are fun.
Oklahoma in a blizzard.
Well, and you started working in Scandinavia, right? In Beowulf?
Oh, that's in my filmography. The oldest Scandinavian epic was Beowulf, and I played the dragon slayer in a play. That was the oldest Scandinavian epic. That was when I was very young. Gosh,
Wow.
you read a lot about people. That's
Vincent, you're still very young. But Vincent, your background is pretty incredible, and I gotta say, you do it all. You're an actor. You do modeling. You do everything. So, what are
You're
you
so
currently?
kind.
What are you currently working on?
Gosh,
Anything that you'd like to share?
A lot of different things. I've shot though in a lot of obscure places like Wales, in Swansea, and Tenby, and coal mine towns. I've shot in around the world in the most, uh, bizarre places, but they're all wonderful. There are castles. There's all these beautiful things. For me, I'm working on so many wonderful things. One, of course, is the launch of Christmas Couples Retreat, which will be on all platforms November 1st, which is a family evergreen film about couples realizing the true relationships that they have with each other during the holidays. They go to a couples retreat, Christmas couples retreat, available November 1st. And then I just,
That's in 2 days, right?
yes, it is.
So
It
all
is.
platforms, meaning is it gonna be on TV or?
SVOD, AVOD, TVOD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
You're
go
you're kind of
Christmas
a
Couple.
Christmas guy to some extent, right?
I love holiday content. It really puts
When he's
me in a
not
great
running
mood.
clubs in his Versace shirt,
Oh, and
getting shot,
Versace. Oh,
he's celebrating Christmas
Winning Emmys
year
for-
round.
But that's so funny. I love holiday, but then I also love the fashion world. I'll be hosting at Cipriani Restaurant on November the 9th, Young Models of America, Cipriani's downtown New York on the 9th from 5 until 8 p.m. Models
wow.
from all over, 245 models, 9 shows, young fashion YSF in New York City. So I'll be doing that. I am also very much supporting of the modeling world. I serve with the Model Association where we advise models in their career, and we have a model mansion. Last year it was done at the Greenbrier, which is beautiful in the West Virginia, the Greenbrier. So I like doing that, and then other films that are populating a lot of different things that are being presented to me, and it's just a matter of deciding what to do next. And yeah, and I loved working with you, Eve. David, you know how wonderful you are. You put together your team of amazing
Yes.
people, and together you create movie magic, kind of like, the TV show that I love with Seth Rogen in the studio. And you never know what's going to happen, like in the studio. And so it's a great thing.
And I gotta say about David as well, it was so much fun working with David. He's got such a great sense of humor. I mean, David is just so easygoing and just relaxed and just like, I mean, it was fantastic and just friendly. And all the actors on set had nothing else but wonderful things to say. So I gotta say, as part of the cast, it was an honor to work alongside with you, because one of the things that people take for granted is not every movie that gets made is going to ever be seen. So to have this movie out there on a global scale it's wonderful. And I also got to say, someone who believes in promoting positive content, I believe that every actor who is out there and someone gives them a platform should recognize and celebrate that as well. So David, thank you for all that you're doing. You are such a busy guy. What's next for David?
Can you talk about it,
The
or is
$1
it
million
secret?
question.
Always.
We do have a movie coming out in 2026 that we're excited about, called Straight Shot. And we just finished that production. I don't know if you've ever heard about that one, Eve. but it's pretty good. And there's a lady in pink. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I've noticed you do have a lot of beautiful women in your movies, right? I was wondering if you got some of Vincent's models for that boat scene.
No. Well, I mean, like we have. I think it goes back to when I was on Evening Shade with Burt Reynolds. I was 19 years old. I'd been here 6 months, and I was very fortunate to walk onto that show. It was a top 10 show on CBS. And Burt, the thing that I remember most about the show was sitting at the table reads and looking around at all of these people who had won Oscars, Emmys, or Tonys. I had no idea who any of them were at the time.
Yeah.
From Hal Holbrook to Ozzie Davis to Ruby Dee to Elizabeth Ashley, Charles Durning. I mean, and then they had all these amazing guest spots. But I took from that, and I had moved around a bit as a kid because my dad was a pastor, as you'd mentioned. I want to work with my friends.
That's wonderful.
And be able to do that in my, and do it consistently.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, of course, does it really well. Like there's a couple different groups that have done that over the years.
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn does it too, but
Sean Rogen, or Seth Rogen rather.
Rogen, yeah, but I'm sure he works with his brother Sean. Anyway,
Owen Wilson, quite a
I'm
few.
grateful to have been able to do that through my career over the years. I've worked with Vincent numerous times. I get to work with you numerous times, and just it's been a wonderful. It makes the set way more fun.
Of course, totally.
And I think it shows in the final product.
And I could speak to that as well, because when I did a line of fire, I'd met David before, and then going back and working on Straight Shot in South Carolina, I would say that the relationship that we had on set felt more organic than the previous time I worked with him before, because I'd established that working relationship with David. So it really helped as well.
Yeah, then you're not trying to size somebody up or trying to figure out what their angle is, or not even that those are negative. But I mean, but also just people have different ways of working. And you're trying to figure out, actors are crazy. I mean, we all know that, including the people who are on this call, probably, I'll say, except for Eve. But Tony, you for sure.
I'm crazy too.
But we're all, eclectic, I think is the word.
Eclectic is the right word to use.
I just got to thank you for giving work to Chachi. I loved Tony and Joni loved Chachi.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
and he looked great in this movie.
That's great.
He did. I think we've done 3 movies now with Scott. In fact, that was my daughter's dad.
Oh.
Yeah, he did this movie here. If you can see it, can you
Yes!
see the DVD?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Mom and Dad.
How
Thanks, man.
he looks so young, and I don't know how old he is, but it looks like he ages very, very well. He looks fantastic, and some of the great. Vincent, were you on a? Were you on a scene with him at the club, or no? That's afterwards.
Scott Baio shot me.
Yes, he shoots him.
Yes, I remember that.
Who would have expected that from
Shoots the
Chachi?
club owner.
Oh my goodness, that must have
But
been.
he shot me in good style, because we went ahead and we went to Ike Behar, who makes these amazing silk wool suits, and Scott Baio was wearing this notch lapel, single-breasted, dark blue suit. He looked amazing, and then he shot me. And I was like, well, at least I'm going to die this way. Because
At least I died from Scott Baio's hand, and he was
And you
wearing
both
a
looked
nice
marvelous.
suit.
Yeah.
And
Suit.
I know. And then I remember David saying, "Die already," because I died slowly, and Scott.
I've been in 2. So Vincent's died, I think, in 2. 2 out of the 5 movies I've done with him. right?
wow.
And I just remember my favorite one. Well, because of this one, he's like, I feel like I should die slower. But the problem is in the scene, all these people are dying, right?
A lot.
So we didn't have time for Vincent to win his Academy Award by his dying skills.
That's
He had to
funny.
hurry it up a little bit.
Oh my, that's funny. One of the
Scott was
beautiful
laughing.
shots
Scott
there
laughing.
in the movie was you driving. I think it was down Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah,
It looked beautiful, and obviously that was filmed before the LA wildfires. But it was such a beautiful. Just looking at that landscape of you driving into. Was that Malibu, or were you going Pacific Palisades?
It goes
or-
from Palisades to Malibu.
Is that where some of it was shot with? I mean, with Jason. Those
Yeah.
were some of really great scenes with you and Jason. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, Jason Patric was wonderful. in it.
Intense, an
Intense as
antagonist.
ever, and
I was so great seeing him after Lost Boys, where he wore sunglasses during the whole movie, and then he practically did in this one too. Is
in Lost Boys.
the vampire movie?
Oh, he actually wore. Yeah, I guess
He
so.
wore sunglasses
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
been
of
a
them.
while.
It was
Yeah,
very.
yeah.
Well, it was the '80s. We all wore sunglasses at night, So.
Those were fantastic scenes with him. It was
Great.
incredible. I mean, what an
Cue the
amazing,
song.
what an amazing cast, David. I gotta say, is there how did it feel for you as also one of the producers to sort of in a post-production seeing all of this put together with such an incredible cast? I mean, it must have been wonderful to have, Cuba and Scott.
I mean, it's certainly, it helps to make it better, easier. But and John Schmidt was the editor on this, who did a great job on this. Even Juan Bofil came in parts of it to help with all the action edits. And so, I mean, it's a whole tribe of people that come together with different levels of artistry.
Skills.
Yeah, and they do an incredible job.
And people are going to ask that, is there going to be, obviously there is always, when you look at it, is this going to turn into maybe a Line of Fire 2, or the story still continues, right?
I mean, I don't know if Mr. X is going to get out of jail.
It's the first thing
Right?
that Vincent, when I met Vincent in February at the Hollywood Museum, and the first thing when Vincent was like, Eve, Eve, Eve. It was so funny when I met him, and he was like, Eve, Eve, is that you? It was funny when he was like, ah. So who knows? But David,
Yeah, because you and I, we never met on set. Because you shot on different days, I shot on different days, and it wasn't until the Roger Neal's event at the Hollywood Museum that we actually got to see each other. And then afterwards, then we saw each other in Miami. But I never got to.
No, I
to
saw you
see
before Miami. We saw at the Oscars party, right? The Oscars
Yeah.
party. Yeah, so we've seen each other.
Yeah.
Wow. Roger is holding up the sign there that we're down to the 3-minute mark. So, David,
Okay.
I got to ask you this question. If you were to have dinner with 3 people
Roger
dead
Neal?
or alive, who would it be
Roger
and
Neal.
why?
It would
That's
be
a
Roger
smart
Neal
move
for
by
the
any
first
count.
person. No, yes, I will say yes to that. I love Roger Neal, and Roger Neal's been such a one of the most the amazing PR people in the world, and I also tribute Roger Neal to being a producer on this movie and also introducing you and me to and that's part of the joy of Hollywood. I think is always the when you. The different connections along the way. How in the world did I meet Vincent? Probably through Roger Neal. Actually, it was
Timothy
indirectly
Radishak.
through Roger Neal as well.
Wow,
ironically.
really?
Yeah.
What a
I
small
thought about
world.
that through Kira.
He's
Wow.
like Zelig. He knows everybody.
Vincent, I got to ask you the same. If you were to have dinner with 3 people dead or alive, who would it be and why?
But you get
Certainly,
3
dead or
people? I
alive.
thought you just got one.
Yeah. So the first person would be Albert Einstein, because I would always like to know about a lot of different knowledge of science. Number 2 would probably be Claudia Cardinale from the movie Il Gattopardo, who acted opposite Burt Lancaster. And then 3 would be a huge dinner and invite all of you and all of my friends. So not
Amazing.
one person, but just like huge dinner with every one of my friends for the last decade. That's it.
That's fantastic. We've got 1 minute left. I know, David, you mentioned A Line of Fire is going to be premiering on Netflix. Do you know time frame when people can expect to see it on?
No, I mean I think right now people just watch it on Apple and
Okay.
Amazon and I guess Vincent
Fandango and all.
and other
Tony?
places.
Fandango, yeah.
This has been an amazing episode. What a great way to start season 3 of the Discovery Pod with Eve with the premiere episode, right?
Another a magical episode, another new season. I love it.
Gotta thank Roger for producing, and our new studio partners. Thank you, Tony, for being here hosting with me. I know you've not been feeling very well. Thank you so much
You
for.
look great, Tony.
Yes, thank you for being here. And of course, Vincent and David, what an honor to have you both on the season premiere of season 3. And we'll see all of you very soon. Remember to watch us every Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, all the various podcast platforms. Again, see you next week. And remember to watch A Line of Fire. Bye, everyone.